Cancer. Welcome to Pandora Astrology's monthly horoscope for October of 2021. We are the astrologers of Pandora Astrology. I'm Jamie Kale Miller. I'm in Berkeley, California.
And I'm Julia Mijas in San Francisco.
Well, Cancer, this month's emphasis on your fourth house of home and family, heritage, and roots brings your attention to your home life and the family members you share it with. A natal and transit reading could answer any questions that come up for you during this horoscope about your home life or really any area. And you can find a link for that in the YouTube description below. Well, Cancer, you will find that there is some Mercury retrograde activity going on in that fourth house. But Julia, I think you're going to start with Venus, aren't you?
Oh, yes, I am. Well, hi, Cancer. Venus is the planet of art, beauty, and relationships. Wherever we have her, we end up having a little bit of extra pleasure in that area of our life, wherever she is that month. So Venus, for the start of the month and the first week, is going to be in your fifth house of fun, amusement, games, dating, and children. So the first week of the month is a wonderful time for the single Cancers out there to get out there and meet somebody new. Wonderful transit for a good first date. If you're in a relationship, then when Venus is in the fifth house, you can enjoy some fun times out with your partner. Maybe go to a concert together, maybe go out to a bar or go bowling. Also a great time to get along well with your children if you have any. Then on October 7th, Venus moves into your sixth house. This is the house of work, your day-to-day job. So when Venus is in this house, it's a wonderful time for getting along well with the people you work with, such as your clients, maybe your boss, maybe your coworkers. The sixth house is a very practical and a very helpful house. So if you're in a relationship, then you might find ways of being very practical and helpful to your to your partner. Find a way to be of service to them in some way too. Then Mercury, the planet of communication and mentation, starts the month retrograde in your fourth house of family and home. So when Mercury is retrograde, it means it's moving backwards in the sky based on our perspective on Earth. And it's a time of redoing and reviewing any issues and matters that are represented by the house that it's in. And it can be a time of miscommunications as well. So in your fourth house of family and home, this could be a time of rethinking and redoing something about your housing or domestic life. Maybe you're thinking of moving, maybe you're thinking of making some changes to your home or thinking about family too. Now, it can be a time of miscommunications with family or with people you live with. So make sure that you're prepared to be able to go back and straighten things out. Now, October 9th is a very important day to keep track of because that's when Mercury is tightly conjoined the sun. And we call that Lesser Epiphany Day, meaning this is a time when all of those Mercury retrograde issues, you might hit a point of clarity and have an aha moment. So this could again be in the area of family and home. And on October 18th, the Mercury retrograde cycle will end as Mercury will pivot direct in the sky. And then over the next week, we'll slowly get out of that Mercury retrograde shadow period. And all of these issues should run a lot more smoothly. Now, Mars, the planet of action and activity, spends most of the month in your fourth house. So Mars is bringing kind of his feisty, kind of his conflict-ridden energy into this part of your chart. So this can be a time of needing to get out a lot of energy on the home front. It would be a really good time to start a home workout routine. Because you're really coming in contact with your Mars when it comes to home and family this month. It can be a time of some domestic disputes with people that you live with, or maybe some conflicts with family members as well. But on October 30th, Mars is going to move into your fifth house, and we're really going to cover that transit in our next video. So stay tuned for that.
Well, we have got a couple of moons to talk about, and here's where you'll really see things gathering in the fourth house, and also some activity in the 10th house, which opposes it. So the new moon is happening on October 6th. Moon and sun get together at 13 degrees of Libra. Mars is very nearby, is very wrapped up with this moon. New moons, of course, are times for new beginnings, planting seeds. This one we're calling Make Peace with Adversaries, partially because this combative Mars is involved in the moon, really bringing up a lot of emotion, some of which might be angry emotion. You might find yourself feeling defensive or protective, especially on the home front, or especially perhaps with family members themselves. And And yet this Mars and the moon and sun are all placed in Libra, which is very much about negotiating and finding a peaceful way forward. The second moon of this month is happening on October 20th. And that one places the moon up here in the 10th house in the sign of Aries, which is ruled by Mars and opposite to the sun with Mars. So again, very strong Mars themes to do with, directness, force of will, honesty, forthrightness, sometimes maybe like, speaking hard truths, but also Mars is more physical. Not so intellectual like Mercury. And so this can show up as action as well. So you got to tone down the anger in your home during a transit like this one. We're calling this one negotiate strongly, then let go. And the reason for that is that Pluto is squaring the moon and the sun and Mars. Pluto brings in a note of certainly of heaviness, but also of manipulation, power and control, feelings of vulnerability that might lead to the desire to control the situation. That could be you, or it could be somebody that you know, somebody that you live with, somebody in your family. So I think that certainly standing up for what you want and what you need is important to do. But at some point, if you really want to get what you need, it's really good to just let go of attachment to outcomes. And that is a really good way to navigate a transit that involves Pluto in that way. The last thing I want to tell you about is that we have a seasonal change. That happens when the sun leaves Libra and moves into Scorpio, where it will be for about 30 days. And Scorpio is the third of the harvest signs that happen in a row. First, there's Virgo, which is the cutting down of the grains, the separating of the wheat from the chaff, followed by Libra, which is when the trees drop their leaves, having already probably dropped most of their fruit, and they start to look really bare. And then we move into Scorpio, which is the killing season, the butchering season, when the animals are taken down, and when the herds are culled, and then the meat is put away for the winter. This is part of the agricultural cycle. So as the sun moves into Scorpio, it brings the light of consciousness wherever it goes. Scorpio represents the dark places in our psyche, the places where we hide stuff, where we suppress stuff, and where it dwells when we suppress it. So when the sun moves into Scorpio, we're encouraged to look at those hidden things within ourselves, within our partnerships, within our partners, and all around us in life, and to become more conscious of that which is usually unconscious. It's getting darker. The light is going away as the sun travels southward. And so, it's time to walk into the dark with consciousness. Well, that's what, and I should say that it's going to be in your 5th house, which is that house of creativity and self-expression. And that sounds like a contradiction, which it kind of is. You're kind of sensitive about your self-expression. You may feel raw, vulnerable, and exposed about your self-expression, but when you go deep inside yourself and look for that which has been hidden, that is when your creativity flowers. And this month, that could definitely happen. Well, that is the good stuff we have for you, Cancer. Hope you enjoyed it. You will find more great stuff like this on our website, pandoraastrology.com, where you will find the horoscopes page, and you can look up your rising sign horoscope or your sun sign if this is your rising sign. And you will find the monthly forecast on our page. And also you can get readings or take classes. And until next time, we'll see you around the cosmos. Bye.
Bye-bye.